run or two, move for fun, as a way to wrap up for the day. Because I don't feel like I've got the power behind me to go more than like another hour or so. So, quick roguelite, 8 runs seem like the way to go. I had considered doing the Rogue Prince of Persia instead, but I feel like that would take more energy and effort out of me than this will. Ooh, attack speed. Yes. Give me the attack speed. I don't think there's too much that I did while you guys couldn't see it. Because I did play a little bit in my off time, but I don't think there was anything major that happened. Like, I think I picked up like 1 or 2 more legendaries. Like, I don't think you guys were here to see me get Glacier Crusher. And I don't think I ended up using Glacial Split since I got it, so we might play around with that in this run. Just gonna quickly cycle through all the legendary items that I have on. But I don't think any... Oh no, Clara's Hood I think I got in my off time as well. Makes all your core skills cheaper to use, which is nice. I still don't actually know how to use these runes, but I'm sure we'll figure that out. Have anything in my stash? I don't. Also, I fully appreciate the fact that the cat is the watcher of the warehouse. Well done. Why can't I talk to you? I can talk to him, but I can't talk to you for some reason. I guess he has no dialogue until he gets his hammer. Because that's what he's wanting, is his magic hammer back from the cathedral. Which I almost got the one time, and then I just barely died to that boss. It looks like we have nothing else to do in town right now, so off we go. Do I... Yeah, we'll go ahead and swap that to help me remember that that's what I'm planning to do. So we'll be going for ice this time. This game has patched a fair bit since I showed this off to y'all when it first came out. It hasn't gotten anything major added to it that I remember, just a lot of bug fixing and little adjustments here and there, which have been good adjustments from all I remember seeing. So if you're worried about this game not getting support, don't worry, they are working on it. There we go, there's our first level up. Worry about that in a second once this guy's not going to shoot me for trying to spend my points. Now the question is, am I going to full commit to ice is the question. Because we did each of the elements as a full commit, and most of the time they were working out just fine. Yeah, we'll full commit for now, just because I don't want to spend too much time sitting here thinking about it. We missed some enemies. Because for those that weren't here when I played this before, the main thing with this is you have to clear every area of enemies in order to move forward. Which is an interesting choice. Now, do I want an artifact or currency? The answer is usually artifact. Increase magic attack, which would be good. Increase health, crit chance, and gain gold on level up. That's all good. This would be great if we were going for electricity, but we're not. I think I'm actually gonna grab this for the gold gain, if nothing else. The extra health is nice, but the 500 gold is gonna be the primary thing for us, because it'll keep us bankrolled on purchasing items. And guess who forgot to turn off the 7 days to die extension? Which doesn't really matter that much because nobody complained about it, but it bothers me that I forgot, so give me a second to turn that off. There we go. Y'all don't need unnecessary overlays getting in the middle of everything. Not that I think it's even getting in the way at all, but it's one of those things. I don't really look at my extensions like at all, because there's not that many I use. So it's very easy for me to forget that that was there. Let's go ahead and make the ice sword better. I don't know if I'm going to push this section of the stream to YouTube or not. I might just cut the VOD off at the end of Metroid. So this may just end up being an extra bit that gets thrown on the channel on a day when I don't already have something. Either way, it's not going to be at the end of the Metroid VOD as normal anymore, because I am trying to trim those a bit when there's multiple things involved. I don't destroy artifacts, so this is not going to help me that much, though the 10% gold gain's not bad. Max resources up is good, crit chance is nice, but not nice enough. This one works with ice, so give me that. I'm a little distracted because I'm making sure everything changed over properly. Right over here at the checkpoint. Do you have anything I want? You obviously have ruby keys that I would like to purchase a couple of. Because those ruby keys are great for getting all those chests along the way. Armor up? Nah. 25% extra physical and magical attack? Yes, please. I debated skipping that in favor of grabbing these relics, but I'm hoping... Nope. I spent too much money buying food. Dang it. Because this one would have been great considering we're going to be primarily doing cold damage, but so be it. Mistakes were made. Ooh, you have nothing but ice moves, so that's good. You might think that Frost Sword and Frost Slash are the same thing. They're not. Frost Slash is actually one of the first core skills you can get for ice. Glacial Cut would have been hilarious because that's one of... I think that's actually... No, that's a mastery skill, not an ultimate. That's the second to last tier of skills for ice. We'll go ahead and grab Frost Slash, so I have an early skill to use. You guys are just hanging out here. Good for you. Coming through. Just a screen full of mercenaries just hanging out. By the way, even when I've been playing in my off time, I did not get that much further than we've been. One of these items got a buff, by the way. I think it might actually be this one right here, the Cloak of Life. I think the max health it gave was increased to make it more beneficial than the percentage-based one. So it actually has more of a purpose. Like in this situation, I think I'm actually going to take the Cloak of Life because it gives more max health and we're already able to carry 3 potions, which is probably as many as I'm ever going to have. And I'd rather take the 20 extra max health right now. Time to start fighting the spooky boys. Yeah, as you can see, we got a level of Frost Slash, basically a level early. So I could just upgrade it straight away. Do that or start grabbing Frost Arrow, but Frost Arrow didn't really do that much for me, and I think that's another one that might have gotten a buff recently. Now you'll notice we can't grab this yet because technically, even though we've purchased a point in here, we don't actually have a point in this skill yet. So when I purchase the ability, now I would be able to learn the skills attached to it. It's kind of weird about that, but it does make a degree of sense. Yeah, I think the cathedral's still as far as I've ever gotten. And I think you guys were along for the ride when I got to the cathedral at least once. I'm not actually sure about that one off the top of my head because I don't remember how far we got in our best run of that. I know you've seen the spider cave. I feel like I was streaming when we got to the cathedral at least once. If not, you'll find out what the cathedral is as soon as I actually manage to get there again. For those wondering, when you see an enemy dying to a regular sword swing, that's because I'm using Frost Slash. The animations are very similar. Because it's basically just hit them with sword better. With a bit more focus on the elemental damage. Go ahead and grab Destructive Frost Slash, because the plan is I'm probably going to grab... I was thinking about expanding Frost Slash, but now I'm kind of tempted by Critical Frost Slash. The only problem with it is it only goes up to an 8% increase. And I don't think that's that impressive. That basically means it only scales up to the third swing of it, which makes sense. It's so that it doesn't chain into the next usage of Frost Slash, basically. But I think expanding will be more useful to us, since that can also just trigger off of a single swing instead of needing multiple. Okay, these two apply to a status effect we're not using, so I guess we'll take this one. Though none of those were particularly impressive. I also should be looking more to build my synergies. I've been being real sloppy this run with that. That's what those two icons on each of these is their synergies, which you also see over here. As you fill the synergies, you get really nice effects for the most part. And some of my best runs have been the ones where I'm focusing on synergies, because they're that powerful. And the other thing I need to think about with spending my points on upgrading Frost Slash is, am I going to be using Frost Slash later? Or am I going to be replacing it? Because unless you live for a really long time, you're only going to get so many points. So you kind of need to pick things with that in mind. Which is not what I've done any of the times I've been playing this, but that's because I'm, as usual, giving the advice I should be using and not taking. Like, I don't really use these assist seals that much anymore. I should. I realistically should. But I always forget to activate them, so I've kind of stopped taking them because I forget to activate them. Yeah, I probably should actually spend my points down here, since I'm guaranteed to be still using Sword of Frost, since it's my basic attack. And we'll grab the ability to make enemies vulnerable with it, because that'll make everything else we do stronger. And there we go, that's all the enemies dead again. Like, it's by no means like an earth-shaking game in terms of complexity or anything. It's got a good amount of depth to it, but it's mostly just a fun time, which is all you need sometimes. Time for the first real boss fight. Which this might be a little tricky with all ice, because our damage output's not really impressive at the moment. So I've definitely gotten in the habit of just powering through him with pure damage from, like, lightning or fire. That's why I hung out down here, because I was pretty sure he was going to be doing that move next. As you might imagine, you can only hurt the head that's got the red bit on it. That's where the meaty parts are, and they need to be destroyed. Ow. Go ahead and heal just to be on the safe side. Ordinarily, I'd push my luck, but there's just that little bit of rust involved right now. So I'm not gonna be too greedy. He really is going all in on the skull spell right now, huh? Which is just as well, is all he uses a skull. Oh, now. Darkness cleansed. Let's... Ooh, legendary ring this time. Killing an enemy or hitting a boss with core skills returns some of the resource. Nice. Because for those that missed all that last time, every boss you kill drops a legendary. So +2 physical attack, extra critical damage, a little bit of damage reduction, extra physical damage, and then the combat resource spent thing. It's probably better than the horn ring we're wearing. The horn ring's good for the extra magic damage, and if we were using projectiles, it'd be great for that too, but we're not, so meh. That's good armor, but it's the same armor as Clara's hood, so there's literally no reason for us to change that. That's the kind of funky thing with the way bosses give so many legendaries, is you start not picking up anything else because you have an entire equipment set of legendaries. It's a little silly in that regard. I think I only spent the one key, right? No, I spent 2, so we'll go ahead and get one more key. Don't need either of those. Nah, I don't need that badly. I don't need the healing. I'd rather buy some more power. That'll get me level 2 Winter, which will give me a damage bonus against chilled enemies, which is good. And it gives us a bunch of magic attack, of course. And this gives us the ability to make things vulnerable without needing to put that point into the Frost Sword. So that's all around a good thing to have. That doesn't apply to anything we have. That would get us Rapidity, but that's for Mastery skills, which we don't have yet. What skills are you selling? Another level of Frost Slash and some lightning stuff. And I could reset my points. But we would lose the bonus point of Frost Slash and just get a partial gold refund, which would get us all the money we spent on the Censer of Oblivion back. So it really depends on whether we were planning on sticking with Frost Slash going forward or not. Which, since we're using an item that would allow me to use Glacial Split more effectively, we're probably gonna be leaning into Glacial Split as our priority move. But Glacial Split does have a cooldown, so I probably would be mixing Frost Slash in some of the time unless I'm going Glacial Cut and Glacial Split. Both of which are pretty good. But that involves me living long enough to get enough points going to get to that point. I was kind of hoping we'd be able to buy Glacial Split earlier. There's a world in which I reroll Mortal's Shop here and see if I can get said spawn of Glacial Split, or I reroll old Burkhan over here and hope for another artifact. Which I think right now I'm more inclined toward the artifacts. Because with the right artifacts, you'll live long enough to get all the points you're going to need anyway. This one's back again. And we are still having money issues. So basically getting 5% interest on our gold every stage could be kind of nice. And then that 50% cost reduction would be perfect. The problem with Merchant, though, is you have to get 4 points in to get the 50% reduction. So that's implying you're going to have a decent bit of longevity to you. I think I'm actually going to reroll this again instead. Really got nothing that synergizes with anything I already have again, huh? Sometimes it be that way. And these two are based on damage over time, which doesn't help us because ice doesn't do damage over time. I could get more health, but even that's not that much. I think this was just a waste. No. Maybe? I could get a level of Frost Arrow. If I didn't have to reroll twice, we could have gotten Blizzard, but no such luck there. I think I just wasted money, honestly. I may as well just buy you food then. No. Yes. Anyway, this was a bust. Now you might be wondering, well, why aren't you buying artifacts just to have more artifacts? There's an item limit. You could replace them after you get them, but I don't feel like spending a couple thousand on something that's just gonna get replaced. At least as soon as my inventory fills out. Because none of those really had huge bonuses that would have really been meaningful to take. These big guys explode. Let's just not let him do that. Just gonna run over into this cave before going too far, because there's almost always a key chest in here. Which gets me my potion back. It's kind of open for some gear for a slot that I don't already have a legendary in, but, you know, that's getting harder and harder to do at this point, so it is what it is. Put me down! That's not for you! I mean, there's 2 potions just sitting here, but I'm at full health, so that's a little silly. Get me some more boots. We do have a level to spend. We're not quite up there yet is the unfortunate thing. But that's fine because that means we can get our other vulnerability option here. This way, whether they're currently chilled or not, we should have a decent chance of making enemies vulnerable, which will make them take more damage. Thus giving us scaling power without needing to be able to scale from other methods. God dang it. I was trying to kill you. Damn grabby hands. Always grabbing me. I don't know where I was going with that. The answer was not very far at the end of the day, but you know. An attempt was made to make sentences happen. Just wasn't successful. I could start fishing for soul gems and try to get skill gems that way, because there is a soul gem that gives you skill points. Okay, that would get me level 2 out of 3 for elements. Which, don't get me wrong, the elements one is very nice. Every 3 hits of your basic skills with magic damage, you deal the same amount again, basically, at 120%. So it's basically just an extra attack periodically, as far as I understand it. This one's also very nice, though. 10% extra experience, faster cooldowns, and killing enemies gives you boosted experience temporarily. So you just get scaling XP boosts. But it doesn't apply to anything we have synergy for yet. And luck, as much as I'm usually all about luck, is not actually as good for me in this game. It's great for keeping your resources up, but I typically don't have that many resource problems. And unfortunately, none of these are great synergies, but I'm going to take Unity because at least it starts to synergize the elements up, and it is a good artifact across the board. Because 25% of both my damage types is impossible to argue with, it's just a positive. Running through a spooky cave, getting exploded because I wasn't paying attention enough. I really thought I was gonna be able to rip him down before he exploded like the rest of them, but I guess he scaled just enough that he survived. Yeah, that one went off too. I think I just need to start rolling away from those guys like I used to. Because I keep thinking I can power through them and I can't. Because they still count toward the enemies cleared if they explode. I think you just don't get the experience for killing them, and honestly, I don't think they're individually worth that much experience anyway. So you'll note we are gaining levels a bit more rapidly suddenly, because the enemies in here are worth more. And that's the bonus from the axe coming into effect. All those axes you saw rising out of the ground. That's why I wanted to try that out, because usually the bonus from a legendary weapon makes a skill way more powerful. In usually some pretty neat ways. Ooh, and we found a key in there. Nice. Now, I will say, I honestly expected to be way more addicted to this game than I ended up being. I think I only really played extra the day after I showed this off for everybody. And then I got distracted by the hundreds of other games coming out. Now, that said, this did happen to coincide with when the Next Fest happened, I think. So that's probably why. Because the Next Fest would, of course, in this job, take priority. Mastery skills, resistances, armor. I'm gonna take the armor. Yeah. Not how I usually do things, as we've discussed numerous times, but in this game, armor and health are a bit more important so far, or in my experience. Let's see. Actually, this belt's better, because it raises my intelligence. Some fire damage is nice, but we're not doing fire right now, so the fire damage is completely useless to us. Whereas raising our intelligence gives us just flat more magic attack, which will benefit our current moves. I'm probably going to hang on to that belt to swap up on when I'm doing fire, but right now it's not helpful. The gold gain from that sword would be nice. And I'll probably hang on to that for when I'm not doing ice. So the intelligence and strength in from the Glacier Crusher is also nice. I don't think I've seen a Cursed Dagger till now, though it's only gear level 2, so it's not going to be great. Anyway, back to murdering. We've got many miles to go and a lot more bodies to leave in our wake before we get where we're trying to be. Let's see if we can get past the big spooky metal spider. This thing's still so upsetting to look at. Okay, yeah, Glacial Split does some work on him since he sits still so much. The main thing with this guy is just don't get caught by those big sweeps he does and don't have him land on you. And you're basically in business fighting this thing. What did I just say, me? You know, it's almost like I just told them not to do the thing that you just showed me doing. Just because I advised them on the whole do as I say, not as I do thing doesn't mean we have to showcase that right now. He is speeding up though, which is making it a lot easier to make those mistakes. He also does a slam after every single one of his sets of shots, so you gotta watch out for that too. That's the Tormentor down too now. Remember when I was having trouble with those? I remember. Oh, I got another copy of Monoxen's battle helmet. Maybe this will have better effects than the other one though. 8 strength, 10 dexterity. That is definitely better than just small percentages of 2 different damage types. And the damage reduction on Monoxen's battle helmet is good. But I think the resource consumption down is just too good for me right now because I use my core skills a decent amount these days. This build does have gold gain, but it would cut my defense in half. At least from that item. Now, do I want my other mastery skills? The important question. I think for right now, I'm at least going to take the Frost Shockwave for Glacial Split, because we're going to be using it a lot to justify using the axe. Okay, we're up to the place where I kept dying now. We're up to the Stolen Monastery. And to see if we can take on Vargas. Because Vargas has consistently been a problem whenever I've gotten here, and I've only gotten here like 3 times, I think. One of which being that theoretical time on stream that I think did happen, but I'm not sure. Start selling some of this stuff because we're gonna run out of inventory. There we go. It was just being a little weird because I had initially accidentally swapped, and then it was like, well, you can't sell that. I don't know if we can dismantle these in any real way, so I'm just gonna sell it for now, because it does sell for purple currency, which is nice. Which all of these things do, in case you haven't caught that. So if you're trying to sell things to get gold to buy something, don't bother, it doesn't work. That's not how this game does things. Sure, I'll take the armor for in here. What do you got for me today? Soul Staff again. Wyvern's Wing Leather. That would get me a dash boost and mastery skill cooldown, which mastery skill cooldown's useful now because we're using Glacial Split a lot. So we'll go ahead and grab that to get 2 synergies. Magic Rampage is nice, but we don't have the other half of getting that right now. Hello! Increase your highest of Strength, Dexterity, or Intelligence by 12 Gain 2 skill points for each legendary artifact you destroy. The stat boost is nice, but we're not going to be destroying legendary artifacts because that involves finding legendary artifacts. And we haven't been doing that. That would be another level of merchant, which would get me the interest per stage that we discussed before that I was thinking about having be valuable. What are the skills you're offering right now? That could get me Glacial Cut without me having to buy it. I mean, without having to spend a skill point on it, rather. The other two aren't in my line, so they're not a concern. It is a really nice move to have, because it just does a decent bit of damage, and you can just whip it out pretty easily. But I was already planning on buying it with my next level anyway, so I think we're gonna stick to buying more artifacts. Because we're reaching a point where I'm starting to get a little bit desperate to get our synergies rolling. Excavation would be really nice to get, because you can end up with such a stupid amount of artifacts available to you with excavation properly rolling. But I'm definitely buying the Great Sage Journal because it's all positives and it gets us the interest on merchant. And it starts getting talent built up, which talent is a very good synergy as well. The only real question is, do I want the Silent Furnace? Extra resources is nice, but it's not important to me. And now, with the amount of item space I have left, I'm not going to be able to split into excavation as well. Unless I want to just use the bonus artifacts from excavation as a means to destroy a lot more artifacts. No, I don't think it's worth it to me. I'll just go ahead and grab the Glacial Cut after all then. So we spend our money. After all, no point in holding on the money if you just die with it in your pocket. It does mean it reduces our interest per stage, but that's fine because there's no guarantee I'm getting past this stage. I don't remember those Goatmen, and I do remember one of the patches saying that a couple new enemies were added, I think. So, they might be new. Or I'm just forgetting about the Goatmen, because I think I just ran them over before, and they're not as noticeable as the spooky undead things all over the place in here. Come to our monastery, where we've got people who throw blades out of their chest at you. Or spooky fire demons that fly around and scream skulls of fire at you. Let's not forget this guy over here with the holy icon of burn your face off. Just such wild and crazy characters here at this church. Makes you want to sign up today, doesn't it? Really just screams join or die. So, equal likelihood of join and die. There we go, got a potion replacement, which is good because we've definitely been using them again a bit more. I can buy Blizzard at this level, and I'm definitely going to. Is Blizzard, even if it's not in your wheelhouse per se, is still a very good skill to have. And if you've got an open space for a skill. Because, you know, it just does that. It just rains icy hell upon everything in front of you. And what's not to like about raining icy death upon everything that you don't like? Max resource, intelligence, core skill damage. The core skill damage one's tempting because we do still use Frost Slash a bit, but I'm gonna take the intelligence because it benefits everything. I was really hoping for a skill point one in there. Okay, our big advantage right now is that we have a lot of good AoE attacks. The problem's gonna be we don't have as much focus damage, and that's what's gonna make killing the boss in here problematic. We are once again gaining more rapid levels though, which is nice. Yes, yes. Each time Blizzard hits a vulnerable enemy, reduce the remaining cooldowns of your mastery skill abilities by 8.5 seconds, which is these two. Basically means you beat somebody up a little bit, then you throw Blizzard at them, and by throwing Blizzard at them, you trigger your other two abilities coming off of cooldown. And since we have a decent amount of ways to inflict vulnerable on things now, I can actually utilize that. And for those that are concerned about mana costs, don't be. Anything with a cooldown doesn't have a mana cost. The only thing we're using that uses mana is just Frost Slash. And it uses a very minimal amount by comparison to a lot of other skills. Ooh, that was almost bad. I probably should have warned people about gore and such with this, but, well, it's a little late to worry about it now. Because while it's not, like, horrifically gory, there is a decent amount of bodies exploding and bits around. Oh, right, that's the advantage of Glacial Cut, is it can paralyze. There we go. 80% chance to freeze enemies on the shockwave. That's the bit of that I wanted. I just second-guessed it for a moment with the other option. Well, that is advanced currency, which is likely to get me a key, but we're still carrying a key. That would be level 3 elements. So would that, though, but that doesn't synergize, I don't think, in other ways. Ooh, max life increased whenever I eat food or use potions is not bad, and that would get me my ultimate skill cooldown as well. It's otherwise not that good, though. This one raises fire damage, which doesn't help. Ooh, actually, wait, no. This one's fine, because this doesn't require anything existing to be beneficial. This just adds lightning bolts to my attacks on the 30% chance. So this is actually the perfect choice, because it gets us elements and gets us a nice bonus move. So we'll be taking that. We just now have random lightning occasionally. Now, the important question is going to be, can we actually survive this fight to take advantage of that? Because we have to face off against Man in Chair. Specifically, Flying Man in Chair. Hope you like fire magic, because boy, he sure fucking does. This is the part that's dangerous, is when he starts doing goddamn fireball spins. At least that's the part that's dangerous for me, because typically I'm trying to push in to hit him, and he can just juggle you a bunch with that if you're not careful. We are ripping him a new one so far, though, so I think we're actually going to be okay. This might be my first time beating him. As long as I don't get too greedy and die to spinny fire death there. Ow, ow, ow. Heal so you don't do a foolish thing. Because that's how I've died to him before, is I thought I could finish him and then I died before, or he did. There we go. First time beating Vargas. We beat him pretty handily, too. Righto. Lightning Striker. When you cast Lightning Strike, get 8 lightning bolts that do more damage. Neat. So now we have a weapon for every element. And it gives projectile damage and gold gain. But that's still nice. I'm happy to see multiple weapons that upgrade my elemental attacks. There we go. This way they're nicely over in a corner, so I remember not to sell or destroy them. Arguably, I should do the same thing with this helmet, but I don't have a helmet to swap for right now to put it over there. So we're finally gonna get out of the monastery, though. I'm really happy right now. Today's been a real winning roll so far. The Armory of Monastery. Charred corpse, its form still intact. It appears to have been clutching something tightly in its arms. His arms, chest, and shoulders are scarred with marks from the object's removal. Well then, that seems upsetting. Big fucking hammer. Was that description? Wrong button. The rune hammer is a special tool of the blacksmith Hanks. Engraved with ancient magic, this hammer extracts the abilities of sealed equipment and transforms them to match the user's strength. After Hanks fled from the monastery, an unknown monk risked his life to protect it. So there we go, we can actually make use of sealed equipment now. Oh, and raise the level of stuff, which I presume means that we can, like, raise the level of legendary gear, probably. I heard from Devane. I believe he has given you our mercenary token. Don't lose it, it's not cheap. I'm Logan. I'm responsible for the Black Falcon mercenaries in Cliffshire. I'm not the leader. Our leader is back home in Kurum. You know of Kurum? Kurum is a city oasis in the desert of Imperial Bashubu. It's quite a distance from here. You'd better keep the token with you. It's sandy, windy, and hot, but the water's clean and tastes amazing. Show our mercenaries the token in Kurum, and we'll treat you to some of that delicious water. I miss the harsh desert. I've had enough of the damp forest. Too much water, man. 5 out of 10. Too much water. There are numerous cemeteries around here, and the order says that when good people die, they're buried next to the monastery. Makes you wonder where bad people go. I don't understand why they have a funeral like that. Don't people think the dead actually get to rest in this world? Demons have raised up all those good people, corrupted them, and molded them to their will. In the desert, people cremate the bodies so they can go to Asheron, the god of fire. It also prevents them from rising from their graves. It's practical that way. Who knows what the necromancers will do if the corpses are simply buried. I mean, I guess if you have a common necromancer problem, your culture probably develops to destroy corpses. Regardless of what other religious mumbo-jumbo gets attached to it. It usually boils down to something like that. You know, till necromancers start figuring out how to reassemble the ashes into something. But that's usually more of like a fire magic thing. It'd be dangerous to go to the temple. You have to go through the center of the cemetery, and Van Devious' son is there. People here avoid talking to each other about the Baron's son, but we're strangers, so they confide in us. Once upon a time, a demon was searching for a suitable body as a host in the mortal world, and he picked the Baron's son. It happened while the Baron was away in the capital. The Baron left his men behind and hurried back alone. When he returned and saw his son, it said his face had sprouted teeth and his body was bloated and hunched over. The Baron's son killed all his servants, skinned them, and walked around with their skins on his head. The Baron killed his son. What was he supposed to do? He could hardly call him son anymore. They buried him in the center of the cemetery and gave him a grand funeral with all the townspeople present. What do you think happened next? As I said, they're all up and about, and he's the one who killed the most people in the cemetery. Uchalu, that's his name. Well then, that's gonna be problematic, isn't it? Grab us some more ruby keys. Make sure we're all stocked on those. Get rid of all the things I'm not gonna use. Pay for the keys, pretty much. I'm gonna keep this gold gain sword because I might start using that at the beginning of runs to make a little extra cash. Depends on if I care enough to do all that swapping. Go ahead and grab the attack boost. Help us ease into a new area a little bit, you know? Now... yeah! This is a good one to have, actually, because it gets us the stat boost from talent. Let me move over a little bit so it's easier to read this. If your basic skills hit for magic damage, you have a 45% chance to make another attack with the same properties as your basic skills against nearby enemies for 110% magic damage. This is why leveling elements is nice, and the 80% increased magic attack at the end of it is also very powerful. So we'll keep on keeping on with that. Let's see if I can get another thing that benefits that. Nope. But I can get the next level of punishment, which again works without us needing anything for electricity. So if I take Punisher's lightning shards, I can make use of punishment too, but how much item space do I have? I don't. Okay, so that's not going to be a viable choice then. And you're not selling any skills I'm going to use, so... Thing is, I'm gonna need to start buying these with whatever I switch out in mind. Like, vulnerability would be nice, but we'd have to scale into it more for it to matter, because most of our stuff already makes things vulnerable pretty commonly. This one we've passed over so many times already, we're not gonna discuss it. Ditto with the Eyes of Greed. I'll try one more roll. Well, it was worth rolling one more time, huh? Because we got a pair of legendary artifacts to pick from here. Magic attack, extra resources, extra attack speed, but it doesn't synergize with anything. This is good for elements and talent. And it gives 45% magic attack and 15% experience. Well, we definitely want that. I just need to figure out what I'm getting rid of for it. Problem is, I lose something off of everything, basically. Arguably, I lose the least synergies off of the lightning hook, but that 30% damage, that 30% lightning attack is nice. I could give up Merchant. Merchant really isn't gonna do much for us if I keep spending all my money. The extra money from interest doesn't do anything. But I would be more inclined to give up... What was the other one that gave us Merchant? That one gave us some, and... Oh, this is the one that... The other one that gave me Merchant. I like this one too much, and it gives me a point in talent, so I'd have to give up this one. The 500 gold every level, though, has been really nice. But I think we may need to start focusing on being stronger rather than on having more... money. And both of these give bonuses to our ice, so yeah, that's gonna have to be the change that happens there. And we'll just turn it into money. One of these is giving me the one level vulnerable. That one. Okay. Yeah, because we've got a bunch of one-off effects, but they're all attached to something that I do want. Ah, it's fine. We should be potent enough to be fine for a bit. The skills of Revenant are based on physical attack, but some are magical attack. So apparently that's yet another class that I haven't seen. And I've not seen any of these enemies yet, because, as noted, we never got here. So, this is all going to be new territory. So don't be surprised if I take it a little slower while I get a feel for what I'm dealing with here. Talent 1 effects are nested. Okay, lots of little enemies in here so far, it looks like. Which is great for our chain lightning that we just randomly get. And since I attack pretty quickly, we get that 30% chance triggering pretty often. I dislike how these axes keep knocking me out of the air, though. At some of these angles, they're a real son of a bitch to get past. And the fact that we're still leveling frequently is why I'm upset that I'm not getting paid for every level anymore. Interesting that I had to go back over here to fight more guys in this spot. Oh god. I don't know what that was, but I hated everything about that. Oh, it's his effect. Okay. You, sir, need to go. And we gained another level just off the crowd we had to fight here. God damn. You ever get the feeling you're underleveled? Because boy, do I'm starting to feel I'm underleveled just from the experience we're getting. See, the thing is, I bought all the main skills I want. It's just now picking everything else around them, which I wanted that. I remember discussing that I wanted that. I don't really need the mana ones though, because we're not spending that much. Cryo freeze isn't bad to have. There we go. Every time I freeze enemies, my mastery skills cool down faster. That'll be pretty huge, actually, because that might lead to me being able to just start throwing glacial splits all over the place. Soul Gem? Of course, now I get the skill point Soul Gem. Now that I don't especially need it, but it's still one of the better choices there. I do want to start raising our power for Glacial Split a bit, though. Since that's kind of the main skill we're using. Because it covers so much area. But also does stupid damage for us. Like, look at that. This little engagement's over. Glacial Split's already recharged. The bleed damage we're taking is spooky. Oh, and that stun hurts. Oh, the stuns. We are leveling like crazy in here, though. And we've only got like the one experience bonus, so I can't even say the experience bonuses are going nuts or anything. They're really not. Oh, wow, that poison cloud sucks to deal with, too. They've really scaled up the danger in this area, like, a lot. Compared to all the places we've been so far. Most other places just had enemies trying to attack you normally, and this place has just been striking me with lightning, throwing poison clouds around, and just all kinds of disastrous things happening left and right. Just power glacial split like crazy. Bam! Crazy flying knife guys are upsetting. Mostly just because they keep causing that bleed damage, because I run into them jumping towards them to hit them. So we don't really have a great way of dealing with them conventionally. I don't know why I went for artifacts. We're kind of stuck on that idea. Unless we get a really good artifact at this point. We're basically keeping what we have. I should have went for the soul gem. Let's fight. Huh? There's a camp. Hi, guys. Bye, guys. You're not as bloated as was implied before. Here, come over here into the blizzard. Whoa, okay. That's a move. Man alive, this guy hurts. Oh, that was the thing I was missing. He was throwing waves behind the big slams, too. Well, on some of them. Like, there's, like, grave markers coming up off the edges of some of those. Okay, that's a directional attack. Oh, boy. You're really throwing a lot of those, huh, buddy? Could you kindly stop? Now die! First try. Barely, but first try. Yebo. Whew. Oh, new Resolute Vow. Okay, that might be better than the one I'm wearing. We'll see in a second. That was so nearly disastrous, though. Oh, boy. Ew. Both of these kind of stink. But this one has more armor because it's a higher level version, so I'm going to put it on anyway. And it gives slightly more damage reduction. Darkness resist, I don't care one way or the other. Skill resource cost reduction, probably better than gaining resource on kill at this stage of the game. Earlier on, the resource on kill is probably better. But at this point, that is reversed. Oh, I released the Sealed Soul of the Successor. I presume that got me a new class. So this is probably going to boil down to we run this run as long as it can. And if we did, in fact, unlock a new class, I will probably give the new class a shot. And then that'll be that for the day, probably. It's so sad that this only sells for 12, even though it's legendary, but it's also only level 2. Actually... Oh, gear level 7 gauntlets. Hello. Considering I'm still wearing basic bitch gauntlets over here. That's just a guaranteed give me that. I got 4 keys. I don't need to buy any keys from you. We finally are no longer walking around with anything that isn't at least East Blue. I am gonna buy her potions this time, because I am in terrible shape at the moment. There we go. And I could have used the food to heal, but the potions weren't that expensive, so... I'll come back and buy that if I have money left after artifacts. I'm hoping we'll start seeing some stronger artifacts at this point. Ooh. When you take damage, you have a 35% chance to freeze nearby enemies. That does seem really nice. Like, magic fusion's useless to us. Would that be better than either of the ice artifacts I have at the moment, though? Because we'd lose the chance to make cold enemies vulnerable, but we already have plenty of vulnerable chance, so that one's kind of a non-issue. And the other option is 50% chance to slow being removed. Meanwhile, the best part of this is probably the fact that it raises my resistances, actually. But we will lose 10% of our magic attack, is the only problematic bit here. No, I think I'm going to leave that on the table. And try to roll for something better. Ooh. Yes, please. Throws ice shards to do extra damage. And I think that'll actually be our last level of elements. Yes, it is. So we'll take that one. We'll get rid of our ice dragon scales. Because with level 6 elements, we now have an 80% magic attack increase. Which bring... Oh! You know, for some reason I never noticed there was a sort button. Huh. Anyway. If we go over here, you'll notice we have 281 magic attack now. Like, it's... Actually, it's over there, too, but... And that's just off of 97 intelligence, which is just 49 magic attack as our starting point. So we have a few magic bonuses, is what I'm trying to say. Just a few. What is this thing? Okay. And I could get another level of Sword of Frost, which it's only 1,000, so sure, give me that. I'm gonna reroll you too, why not? Hey, even more levels of Sword of Frost without spending skill points, why not? And now we'll go ahead and buy our food. And I can get an extra level of Glacial Split as well, why not? Spend all the money because we're not making interest anymore. Charge! Buchalu, did you kill him? It is a pity. The villagers were very fond of him. Even Baron Vandivis was proud of his son. Is that why he made such a horrible choice? He had a great amount of guilt for executing his son with his own hands. He believed that since his son had already become a demon and died in that state, that he could not be saved. I mean, he might be right about that, especially with the shape he ended up in. So he abandoned his moral principles and beliefs and joined hands with the devil himself to bring his son back to life. I get it, but that's not gonna solve it. All you're gonna do is make it worse, doing a move like that. Did he think he would give his son a second chance by reviving him? Is he that stupid? Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. Hard to say, really. Sometimes for love, people make the dumbest decisions. He prayed to Lu to save his son from the clutches of evil. So wait, you're saying that he was praying simultaneously to the devil and to your god at the same time, playing both sides. You know what? Fair enough. But Lu have no response, and so he was frustrated and angry. I think that is the moment the Baron lost his soul. The Baron left Buchalu in the cemetery and returned to the temple. Free him from the pain that is tormenting him. Then take the holy relic, the Sword of Lu, that the Baron guards, and prepare to head to the burial ground. Temple of Light is the home of the spirits of light. It's in the name, you know. What a surprise. The Order built the temple where spirits were abundant, and fortunately the spirits liked it and stayed. They really could have just wrecked the whole place. It could have been a disaster. The Order chose not only those of high piety to guard the temple, and one of them was the Knight of Monaxen. Just as there are those like you who wield the power of runes, there are those in the world who have the special connection to the spirits. Such was the case with Manaxen, who infused with a spirit of light and became a guardian of the temple. This fusion of creatures and spirits can be seen in many places, and you yourself have witnessed it. The tree spirits and vine spirits encountered in the forest are known as spiritual bodies. Spirits are not generally visible or tangible, so not many people can sense them. Occasionally, a creature imbued with spirits will appear, and we call it a spiritual body. When an old tree is imbued with spirits, it becomes a tree spirit. And when a vibrant vine is imbued with spirits, it becomes a vine spirit, and so on. We were very creative with our names, as you can tell. Just take the thing that got a spirit in it and call it that spirit now. Yes. Brilliant, isn't it? Of course, that's academic, and everyone else just calls them spirits for simplicity's sake. Sometimes they imbue humans, who then use the power of the spirits they've fused with, or borrow power from other spirits like themselves. Manaxen is an unusual case. He became a guardian in a completely different way. He's remarkable in that he gave up his physical body to become one with the temple and spirits when he took on the role of guardian. If you enter the Temple of Light, you'll be able to meet him. Ask him about what's happening in the temple. He might drop a bit of the ceiling on your head, though. He's a little wild that way. I will prepare for the salvation of Vandevius. If you can defeat the Baron, perhaps that will be the moment I finally see an end to my long struggle. Full story, lady. Bye. All of the Temple of Light. Hi. It has been a long time since I've seen anyone set foot in this place. I am Manaxen, a spirit of light and a loyal knight of Lu, whom cherishes this holy place. I was first a knight of Lu, but I willingly became one with the temple in order to protect it for the rest of my existence. However, Temple of Light has become an uninhabitable place for spirits since the fall of the Baron. I sense that many of the spirits of light have left the temple. Once the spirits have left, there can be no place for life. I will soon be the last spirit guarding this place. You know, when they told me you became one with the temple, I kind of expected you to be one with the entire building, not this giant, kind of awesome statue in front of it. You really got the better end of the deal, as it turns out here, though you seem to be turning back to stone, which is not great. And then the temple will see no more light. Successor, drive out the demons and bring back light to the temple. I must fulfill my task of protecting the temple, but I don't have much time left. I entrust you with the essence of my light. If you slay the evil and save the fallen Baron Vandevius, who has had his name in multiple different colored texts for some reason now, the spirits of light will return to this temple once again. It is a pity that I cannot be of more help. It would be pretty great if you just walked out there with me and just started swinging that giant golden sword. I know, right? It would be really cool. Anyway, go on, do the job for me. Bye. When you take damage, take 10% less damage for 5 seconds, or when you take damage, all resistances are increased by 20% for 5 seconds. So 10% all damage or 20% magic damage. I'll just go ahead and take the 10% all damage. Because I don't know what damage types everything does enough to be sure what would be better in that situation, so I'll just go with the universal constant there. Speed! Who needs to catch the teleporting crazy guy when I can just hit him with chain lightning? It's nice to see that our overall power seems to have stayed relatively consistent. We're not way too strong, but we're not feeling weak either, particularly. We're just constantly in danger, which is the good thing. You want to be in danger the entire time, because otherwise you start to question the balance of things. But not, like, unwinnable danger. Oh, more of these holy guys are here, huh? Okay. You know, there's something funny to me, actually. Hang on, let me deal with these guys. It's kind of funny to me that I'm doing the best with what is basically the opposite of my preferred element. I'm usually all about fire, and here I am using ice to get the farthest. Just goes to show, sometimes in order to be the strongest, you have to step out of what you usually do. You can't just rest on your laurels and stick to what you know. Ooh, boy. Wow, we got another 2 skill points in there? I thought we only got 1. Okay, so that's Glacial Split maxed out unless we buy more points. Points in it. We have almost full Sword of Frost without even having put more than 2 points in it. We are still doing basic attacks a lot, so we'll go ahead and at least get that to 5. No, there's just a chest all the way up here, huh? Some guard armor in it. I do want to take a moment to appreciate all of you that are sticking with me, even though the thing you may have come to see initially isn't here anymore. Or since we had already finished the other game. And hopefully everybody's still hanging in there and doing well and taking care of themselves. Ooh! Killing an elite monster has a 50% chance to grant 1 artifact or 1 life potion. This would have been great to get earlier. But unfortunately, I think at this point it's not actually going to be any good for us. Both because it's powered by killing elites, because you get 2% physical and magic attack for every elite, and I'm assuming that's not retroactive. And we're out of space for artifacts, so getting piled in artifacts would just give us tons of money, which tons of money's great, but doesn't help us, especially. And the synergies are wrong for what we have, so I'm just gonna have to turn that into money, which makes me sad. Do I still have the thing that gets better from destroying legendary artifacts, or did I not take that with me? I think I left that behind. Yeah, I did. Sad. Because I didn't expect to get any legendary artifacts, because I didn't expect to live this long. Look at that power. And it's already finished cooling down without me using any other skills. Like, we are not very powerful. This one skill, though, real good. I've got 1 good party trick, and the rest of it's just kind of there. Oh boy, there's a lot of dudes in here. Correction, there was a lot of dudes in here. Oh boy. Bleeding out again. There we go. Oh, I hate everything about what this guy is. Just leaving fireballs all over the place. That's usually my job, man. Can't be stealing my bit, even if I'm not using it right now. And another level. God damn. And to think, I was so worried about not having enough points to do things with, and we're just getting buried in skill points at this stage of the game. right after I'd purchased most of the things I wanted. Okay, Sword of Frost is now capped out. We can't increase our basic attack any further without spending money on it. Which has brought it back into line with the rest of our attacks, pretty much. Which is good to see. I always worry in games that have scaling basic attacks that they will, even with their scaling, not keep up with the attacks that cost you something to use. Okay, let's stop fishing for artifacts. I know my reflex is to keep buying more artifacts and grabbing more artifacts, but they're really not helping anymore. Unless I happen to roll legendaries, which we are getting some of, but I'm not gonna keep gambling on that at the moment. Though in a choice between an artifact and currency, I might have been better off with the artifact just because we would have gotten more money out of the artifact, I think. But it's fine. Baron's Hall. Get to full health before we fight him. Look at you. Oh, he's a skeleton. Oh, okay. I like this guy's design, but he is gonna be a problem. Oh, I don't know what these do, but they need to go. Whatever they are and whatever they do, they need to not do it. He keeps dodging my only big attack, which is the biggest problem we have right now, is he doesn't stay still much. You know, funny thing to have a complaint about. My opponent's not standing still and letting me hit him. Boo-hoo. You know, usually I'm the one who's the problem in that respect. Oh, he's got a new form. He's got a crazy magic spear and a purple glowy head now. He seems to be moving less now, though, so really, I think he might have made a tactical error here. He does hit a lot harder now, but he loses. Bide for a moment. I must speak with him. Oh, wow. Showing your proper form now, huh, Clara? I guess you can't maintain that form that well when you're old. Oh, there you go. I think you might have purified him, perhaps. Are you awake, Vandevius? It is I, Clara. Clara? The Clara I know is a helpless old woman. That I am. There's much I should tell you, but we don't have the time. So you're a witch, and the cause of all of this? Me, my son, all of this? It's true that I am a witch, cursed with the power of the rift. But it was not I who opened the rift, and I intend to use my power to close it. The successor has arrived in town. He's the one who has overpowered you. With their help, we can do that which seems impossible. Vandevius, we need the Sword of Lu. I've heard that Lu's Sword of Light can help us meet the Drakons that live in the rift. Gaz and Dugni, we need the power of those two Drakons, for they have a deep understanding of the power of runes. Please help us prevent anyone else from suffering as you have. It was not the power of Lu that awakened me. Was it the power of a witch? Vandevius, we don't have much time. Where's the Sword of Lu, the most holy relic? Answer me. Do you think your intent concerns one who has already sold their soul to the devil? Yes, I do. The light of Lu is the very force of creation itself. It cannot save those who have been corrupted by the devil. Can you wake my son as I do? Uchalu is dead. That was not your son, Vandevius. The thing that you raised from the graveyard through your pact with the devil. On our way to the temple, we slew the murderous demon who wears your son as a mask. I see. Did you do it? This one did. It was something neither you nor I could do. Sword of Lu is inside this. Plunge it into the rift. Then you shall meet the two Drakons who reside in the rift. Thank you, my dear friend Vandevius. Friend, you would call someone who's been corrupted by the devil that? I'm a witch. I'm in no position to point fingers. And so it would seem. I will rest now. Sleep in peace. So that was a whole lot that happened. Haglaz rune number 9. And the frozen blade. When you cast cold amplification, an icy blade appears and does stuff. I apologize for hiding my identity. I certainly had no ill intentions in doing so. Yep, not a priestess at all. Pretty safe bet on that one to begin with, really. She was not exactly acting very priestly. Allow me to reintroduce myself. I am Sansa, former witch of the Circle of the Black Dawn, now a fugitive. Have you ever heard the stories of the Circle of the Black Dawn? They schemed to open the rift and resurrect Garnarion, the great demon that resides there. It's not known exactly how long they've existed, but their actions of opening rifts and summoning demons mark them as enemies of the entire continent. They are a group that worships Garnarion as a god. Those called witches are women among them, born with the power of the rift. I suppose you could say they're similar to you, born as you are with the power of runes and raised to be a successor. However, opening a rift that summons a demon is more devastating than you might think. We do kind of deal with that all the time. I feel like we might understand some of that. My dearest friend was lost to me, to a demon during my training. Shortly after that, I used all my strength to flee them and hide myself. By the time I reached Cliffshire, I was exhausted and nearly dead. It was Clara, a priestess here, who took me in and hid me. That's why I stole her identity. She knew I was a witch, but she didn't care. She took me in and took care of me. With her help, I was able to go to the capital and become a priestess of Lu. Oh, so you did at least follow through on becoming a priestess. Okay. When she died, she bid me to hide my identity under her own. No one knows who I am except a few villagers who have known me since childhood. Even Vanvius, who came to the village after Clara was laid to rest, didn't know my identity. The other day, when I saw the Great Rift in the burial grounds and the demons attacking in earnest, I wondered if the day of prophecy that the Circle of Black Dawn spoke of was coming. They have a prophecy that the Archdemon Garnarion will rise up and save his persecuted people. I now intend to do everything in my power to stop him. They'll soon learn of my identity, but I'd like lead in closing the rift alongside you. That's not quite the right words there, but sure. Go now and obtain the Sword of Lu, then meet with the two Drakons. They're the only ones who may grant you the power of the runes. There we go. There's a lot to unpack there a little bit. But it also kind of happens suddenly enough that there really isn't at the same time, if that makes sense. I don't use cold amplification, but if I put a point in it, the frozen blade might be worth putting on. Though we'd lose the healing on level up that we have, which has been kind of saving our ass. And there's still more for her to say, according... No? I think that's showing the marker on her because she'll have something to say in another spot, but she doesn't have it to say here. Now to quietly run off into the distance. Why is there this whole huge hall here? Like, this feels more like where the boss arena should have been. And all these candles would have been lit during the fight and things like that. Oh, I guess that makes sense too. Got big sword. Which we're not going to be able to use, of course. It's got to be a plot weapon. It doesn't even fit in the box. It's such a big fuck-off sword that it doesn't even fit in the item box. The Holy Relic of Cliffshire. This blessed Sword of Lu allows you to maintain your will in the face of darkness. Neat. Still sad that it's not a legendary weapon I can use. Are we actually gonna go all the way? Is this actually gonna be a winning run? Are you successor? Since you appeared through the rift, you must be of Lu's care. I am called Gamara. I am a seeker. This shrine lay dedicated to Carrion, a human that experienced the transcendence that all seekers desire. Nah. I'm doing fine, Jay. How about you? And you might think that this looks like somewhere you'd go when you die, but we're fine. We've actually been plowing forward just fine. This is actually the farthest I've gotten in this game, ever. It was Clara's intent that for those who guard the entrance to Burial Ground, Luan's dark shadow, to be seekers. She asked brothers Kyrian and Moore, two of the strongest men in Luan, to be guardians to the entrance. Kyrian welcomed the responsibility to guard the darkness and moved here. Upon learning of their arrival, many seekers followed, and I was one. 1 year passed beneath the brightest full moon in Pale Plateau. Moore and myself bore witness to Kyrian's transcendence. Sounds good. Have fun with Pacific Drive. It was incredible as he became one with the mana of this world. As word spread throughout Luan, more seekers came to this place, and I have raised a shrine in his honor. Moore became leader of the Seekers in place of the transcended Kyrian, but such transcendence must have birthed jealousy. After the Great Rift opened, Moore grew both corrupted and stronger. Moore slaughtered all Seekers that had taken up residence here, and as a test of his power. Later, when he himself experienced transcendence, he kept me alive so he himself could leave for Pale Plateau. Transcendence, though, is a path for those who pave their own, without the aid of gods or powers of runes. No offense. Does he not know he's further away from true transcendence, or has he fooled himself? If you are to slay a demon and save one from falling to evil, I would that you save more. The Pale Plateau is located on the moonlit area as you make your way to the Burial Ground. As you move forward, I will give you the gift of the Seekers. May it help you. If resources are below 30%, magical attack is increased by 30%. If life is 30% or less, physical attack is increased. I'm more likely to use the Shaman Bell, because our physical attack really isn't what we're leaning on here. Black Plateau entrance. One sec. Let's see. We are low on potions again, so we'll grab our full complement of those. Grab a key. This would be nice, but I don't want to replace my legendary with it at the moment. It's not that compelling. Sure, that'll do. Anything particularly cool? Nope. We could buy Cold Amplification, but I'm not that compelled by it, because we don't have an open button to make use of it with. We'll go ahead and buy a level of Blizzard, since you otherwise can't level Blizzard. There's Cold Amplification again. They really want me taking Cold Amplification. To which I say nuts to it. No. Ooh, damage dealt to enemies is increased by 1% per 3 intelligence. So, if it's every 3 intelligence and we have 117 intelligence, 90 would be... Hang on, what was that percentage again? So if it's per 3 intelligence, 90 would be leading to 30 intelligence, if I'm mathing that right. Because it'd be a third of the value, basically. So it'd be something in around 30 that I'd be getting by having 117. It'd be close to 40%, but not quite. So that's pretty potent. Problem is, what item would I swap out for it? it probably would end up being Unity, because we'd gain more magic attack from it, and I'd get rid of a synergy that doesn't help me in exchange for getting the 4th point of talent. Because it already raises our magic attack by 30, which is more than what that artifact's doing. We would just lose the physical damage bonus, which would be replaced by the flat damage bonus. So yes, that's perfect. That is just straight up benefits. And it'll boost all of our stats by 20%, since one of those is higher than 50. So it's just across the board good for us. So for example, our intelligence went from 117 to 145. And we're up to 421 magic attack from the like 200 something we checked on before. So, you know, pretty good. Pretty good. Ooh. 30% magic attack and 10% more experience. Isn't that just a slightly better version of the other item we have? No, that's the slightly worse version, because this is the legendary one. I could get rid of this, but I don't need more levels of elements. We're capped out on elements now. So I think we actually don't want that right now. Even though the 10% extra experience would be kind of neat, we don't need it. So we'll reroll this one more time and just barely not be able to afford another level of Blizzard. Sad. Fine. Leaving. Spent all of our money again. I can't believe that this entire section of today has been just this one run. After we finished Zero Mission, it's just been this one incredible run so far. Remember when it was taking me a few hits to kill any of these things, and now we're back to the same speed I was killing enemies in the first area? Because we've just gotten that strong just from the last few artifacts we've gotten. What's that? You thought you won? No, I gained a level. Fuck you. Haha. Wait, there's one guy hiding over here. Die. None are allowed to survive. Quite literally, from game mechanics, I'm not allowed to let any of them live. Oh, there's suddenly a threat again. Lots of elites start getting real spooky, even with us getting that strong. Because remember, our damage is going up a lot, but our defensive stats, not as much. We did gain 2 more levels again, though, so all of our stats keep going up a bunch. Because thanks to the early levels of talent, we're getting 3 points on every stat, every level. Yeah, these are all assist skill related, so I don't want those. I'm not using my slash nearly enough anymore. I'm kind of running out of things to spend points on. Aside from frivolous things. Sure, we'll put that. We'll actually grab a point of Glacial Cut. Glacial Cut's just kind of been existing in our tool set here. Ow, wow, wow, wow. There we go, Blizzard took care of that. Advanced Soul Gem, sure. Mastery skill damage, life, or dexterity. Mastery skill damage. And the fact that cold doesn't dispel freeze, by the way, is why I'm focusing only on cold skills, since we're trying to leverage freeze. And we wanted to see how well the Glacial Cut bonus worked out, which, let me tell you, It's really been working out really well. Once again, keeping the rule alive of any run I think is gonna just be a meme ends up being some of the best runs I've got. Because memes are powerful. We are just splattering these guys all over the pavement. And another zone cleared. Our inventory's getting real full again, is gonna be an issue. They were just raining health potions everywhere there. Probably want rapid glacial cutting, is what it'll do is if I end up freezing things with glacial cut, we end up getting the cooldown bonus from harsh awakening over here, and then we'd get rapid glacial cutting's reduction as well, so we might be able to just keep glacial cutting repeatedly. Just give me one quick second to do a thing and I'll be right back. Oh, it's kind of crazy how this run is going so far. If we end up beating this game in addition to beating Zero Mission today, I don't know what to do with that information. Like, that would be incredible. 15 armor when we've already got 210 is still decent. I get a skill point, I would then have to figure out where to spend it. 6 intelligence would be kind of drop in the bucket-ish. I feel like the 15 armor is going to be more valuable to us. Because, like I said, our defensive stats were suffering. Oh, hi there. You're a successor. I've waited to ask something of one such as you. Why does someone as strong as you, someone beyond mortals, not seek more power? You may claim to be a slayer of demons and savior to mankind with the help of the gods. But what does that bring you? Nothing. You get nothing and go nowhere. Kyrian, who thinks only of himself, becomes a transcendent and leaves everything and everyone behind. I too will transcend and follow him. I will follow him and I will surpass him. For that I'm willing to bow my head to the devil and give up my soul. Come, successor. I wonder if a man who is only ambitious as a just cause can overcome a seeker whose true ambition is fueled by desire. Got some neat moves there with the spinning discs going. Can you dodge all these? You sure can. Good for you. Until you run into them again, anyway. Oh, he's got crazy hair now. He took the hat off. Ooh, him dashing into that was actually really bad for him. Oh, I'm stunned for so long, though. What is this? Nope. That's it for more. Successor, may your path walked in defiance of death not be taken in vain. At the end of transcendence is nothingness. Wow, 3 bosses. Actually, no, 2 bosses in a row first tried, and one of which we had failed on multiple times. Stop giving me Monaxon's battle helmet. I don't want it. I mean, I might actually want this copy of it, but still. Yeah, because it's 15 more armor, but it only gives me strength. It'll probably be good for if we actually did unlock that other class like it looked like we might have. So for all that build up for More's already dead and done. And we're off to the burial ground. It definitely got spooky a couple times there when he had me paralyzed. Or more accurately, electrocuted, but it ended up the same way as being paralyzed. We've definitely got some better gear sitting here. It's just all gotten, like, no effects to it. So I'm gonna keep my effects going and hope for getting better options. Because, like, with the weapon especially, I kind of need to keep it, because otherwise I will lose the long reach of the glacial split that we've been relying on. Because, like, if we didn't have that in that last fight, for example, we wouldn't have chunked off like a quarter of his hit points in one go, like we did. And let me tell you, that chunking probably was the only reason we got through that. Ivy of Greed, Sensor of Intelligence. This would have been great to get early on, but I think since it's probably not retroactive, I don't think I want it anymore. Similar case with this one. It probably isn't retroactive either, and it doesn't synergize with anything. This one, though, at least would keep our talent up, which is very helpful. I would love to have level 6 talent because of the plus 10 to all skills. That just sounds absurd. The only problem is, where in here do I fit that? And I think what it ends up being is I start getting rid of, like, Flourish and Winter, basically all of these ones that aren't talent. It's like Chilling Arrowhead I'm keeping because it gives elements and the ice shards are really good. The Blizzard Collector's Orb, I don't need anymore, I don't think. The slow really hasn't been amounting to too much anymore. But if I lose it, I lose a level of elements, so I can't get rid of that right now. The Chalice of Silence is just, like, complete garbage for me. It's completely pointless at this point. But we lose the skill cooldown is the only thing. But I think that's fine. Judging from the intelligence increase, it might actually have retroactively counted. Because we just gained like 30 intelligence there, I think. And that was only supposed to give 7 and then 1 for every 15 enemies killed. And we've done a lot of killing. Ooh. The Blessed Quiver is actually a tempting option just because of the fact that it has a talent bonus. That would get me to maxed out talent. But it's otherwise kind of useless to us. Because a 15-point increase in intelligence is nice, but not massive. We'll try re-rolling one more. Great Merchant's Charm. Gain 100% more gold. That's pretty great. But not what we need. Well, that's unfortunate. Sure, I'll take a free level of Frost Slash. Why not? Oh, nothing for it. We're not quite getting what I hoped for. At least not yet. We do have another shop coming up, I assume, at some point. Oh, it's an elevator. Oh, hey, you thought I died? Found a dead guy. Are you from the Order? You can see that I linger at death's door. Is this my opportunity for penance, Lou? I will tell you all that I've seen, though I struggle to believe it. It took place on the burial ground. I heard the rending of air, and a space opened up. When everyone saw the space start to glow purple, they began to approach. As one man got close, a demonic face emerged from the rift and tore his friend's head in a single bite. I don't know what happened after that. I turned and ran, and I did not look back. The screams of my former companions, the sounds of tearing flesh, and the crunching of bones. There was nothing I could do. As I fled, all I could see were those running with me for the exits amongst brave soldiers unsheathing their weapons. I live only because of their sacrifice, or because of my cowardice. I know the truth. Once the people started screaming, priests and soldiers rushed out together to challenge the monsters, but it was not enough. The priests of the Order said they had to close the rift, and that's when I realized that this torn void was a rift. As you know, only witches have the power to close rifts. But where do you find witches in Luan, the so-called Holy Empire? No one could say, but then again, everyone thought they were all dead. That's when the witch appeared. She walked out from among us. No one imagined that she would be amongst us, or that she would be the first to step forward. With each step she took, her appearance shifted slightly until she revealed herself to be the witch we now know. She claimed she would attempt to close the rift. Close the rift? Aren't they the ones opening the rifts? We looked upon her anxiously. He took off in the direction of the demons. Soon after, there was a great roar, then the sound of the demons faded and we survived. What right do any of us have to brand her the witch? It's thanks to her I was able to make it this far. This is as far as I go. On the way here, my companions fell prey to the demons. It appears that I too am destined to die without ever again seeing the sky. If you want, I can just drag you to that elevator right over there. It's 5 feet away. You'd at least get to see the sky again, though the sky doesn't look great right now, I gotta tell you. You will find her and the demon deep within the burial ground. If the last spark of hope has not been snuffed out, then it lingers with her. Successor, please. Please. And he didn't fall over. He's not dead yet. Oh great, more of these little bombing bastards are here, huh? Oh, and more of the crazy blade throwing guys are here too. Okay. They were undead looking, so I guess that makes sense. And the little axe throwers are here. Sensor of intelligence effects are nested. Whoa, look at this weird guy here. The one who set me on fire. Ow, 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 ow. Kindly stop that. The stun locking from those blades are brutal. And there's these weirdos carrying the coffins full of weapons. Oh god. We might die here. These guys are really dangerous. And we don't have the durability to hang with the cool kids right now. Did I forget to sell things? I think I forgot to sell things. No, I didn't, because I could pick that up. Oh, my inventory was full for a moment there. No. Yeah, no, we have plenty of inventory space, so I think it just didn't pick up the first time because this game does have a little bit of a glitch issue with that. Whew, boy, though, we are dancing on the knife's edge of death right now, and I'm not the happiest. Go ahead and get the glacial cut bonus there. Here's glacial cut up. Please have potions in you. Okay, good. Because I didn't want to use up my last potion, and if I could help it. So I need that as my, oh god, I'm about to die, I need to use a potion right now button. It's a really long name for the emergency button, but you know, it makes sure everybody knows what the emergency is. Okay, we made it through the first room of this area. Somehow. Core skill damage up, strength up, life up. This might just be just this run today, since we're already going over the time I had intended to go, but this run just will not end. And don't worry, I'm not going to intentionally throw the run at any point if I can help it. It's just going to really depend on how I feel when we finish this run, whether I'll try another one. I dodged, but it didn't take it for some reason. Okay. We are out of potions, so this could be ending right here, right now. Just gotta start being real careful. Whoa. I hit the wrong button, and I still didn't die for it. That's impressive, all things considered. Whew. I hit the glacial split button figuring it was off cooldown. It wasn't. And that would have been death if I had had just 5 less hit points. So anyway, I just blizzarded most of those away, because fuck fighting that properly at this current condition. I need to dodge him and then kill him, because if I fought him straight up, I was gonna lose. Okay, a little bit of cagey fighting, but we made it work. Mastery skill damage, basic skill damage, mastery skill damage, because that's our bread and butter. Just limping through this stage. Whoo, whoa, 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 whoa. It's getting really sketchy. I think this is the boss fight, so we're probably gonna die. Yeah, I have no potions and not even 100 hit points going into this fight. Hi, big guy. You seem busy. You want me to just leave? No, you're all about chopping me to bits, huh? Fair enough. I mean, I ain't just gonna roll over and die. But I will miss my dodge and die. Rip. Oh, it's been a while since I've been in here, huh? I hear you've obtained the Sword of Lu. It will keep you sane in the rift. Go into the rift. They say something other than the demons live there. Oh, I can go this way now. I can't go to town and then go in there, though, can I? Well, that complicates things. I no longer have any of my skills. Oh, fuck it, we're going in. Into the rift with the Sword of Lu. There's a cat. Desmond, the other warehouse overseer. Okay. Ah, this is where Gahaz the Engraver lives. Greetings, mortal. That blessed sword you carry proves that you're worthy to be here. That sword you hold's been blessed by a gold dragon. It's how you survive in this place. So it's your first time here? Worry not, for nothing threatens the bearer of that sword. I am a Drakan, descendant of the long-dead dragons. No interest in ancient tales? This is something a successor should hear. You know why the dragons fell? The dragons' sin was arrogance. The runic magic they possessed allowed them to manifest their will through words. Words that can challenge the gods themselves are not just words. The dragons' words were no different than their actions. When the dragons incurred the fury of the gods and were destroyed, the Golden Dragon Lord took us to the Sanctuary of Shadow. The Drakan that remain are not like us. All their magic's been torn away. However, the Golden Dragon Lord taught us a secret ancient ritual. Isolated here, we protected our magic abilities with holy seals. This ritual preserved our magic and allowed us to elude the fury of the gods. The Sanctuary of Shadow is a plane that is entirely dependent about that blessing, and a place where the descendants of the dragon escape destruction. This place is home to the Forge of Gahaz, a giant furnace that bears my name and is empowered with the strength to inscribe runes on objects. The Burning Heart. We remain here exactly for moments such as this, to stop Grenarian, that blasphemous leader of the Black Dragon clan. Were it not for him, we'd be beloved by the world. That was a lengthy tale. Bide, I may enhance your gear with an ancient magical ritual. Your gear will be made of even more powerful, and together, we will fight this threat. Successor, how many runes can you employ? Your runic ability would determine the number of pieces I may create. Show me your gear. Ah, so now I can recreate the items we've seen and make better ones, presumably. Each bleeding you inflict. Ooh. Oh wait, we can't make the... Oh, it's not based on what we've already had, it's based on what runes we have. Because we've had the Phoenix Sword before, it's sitting right there. You can see it over there on the right. So these are based purely on what recipes we can fulfill. It just was convenient that the Resolute Vow was the first thing I saw. And of course, some of these are Spellblade only because they affect Spellblade skills. I'm not gonna make any of these right now, actually, because we have most of them already, and some of them are class specific. But it's good to know I can pop over to see Gahaz anytime I want and make legendary gear. Once more into the breach. Oh yeah, change character. We're now this guy with the blood sword, apparently. Level 1 Berserker. Let's have a look at what the skill tree for the Berserker looks like. Heavy Blow, Rip Off, Frenzied Strike, Forward Stance, Rising Fury, Unrelenting Fury, Madness Wave, Blood Axe, Frantic Chain, Rending Spin, Bloody Berserk, Roar. Yeah, all of these are passive, so I'm not going to really look at them too much at the minute. Cruel Strike, Frantic Whirlwind, Offensive Thrust, Beheading, and Ring of Blood. Well, there's certainly a theme here, isn't there? Whew. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put away all of my Spellblade specific things. You'll notice all of the stuff that the Spellblade was wearing stayed on them too, and I'm gonna keep it that way. Because most of the stuff I was putting on was geared toward magic anyway. So everything I had isn't really gonna help him. Let's see. This one gives 12 strength, so we'll wear this one. The thing is, all of the melee weapons in this game seem to still give magic attacks, so they're not going to be giving him anything great straight off the top. So go ahead and use the money make. Oh wait, no. Okay. So it's because these weapons were dropping for the Spellblade, I guess, that they give magic damage, because the greatsword here gives physical damage. Okay. Go ahead and wear that armor. You can't even wear that necklace. Wear these gauntlets. Like, we're gonna be at a significant power disadvantage for the moment until we can sort that out. This also means I should put some of these magic attack weapons away. Like, I still want to keep the Avenger sword for now just because of the gold gain. The rest of this can all get binned, though. That's my runic hammer. We met Dyke. Found dead by the hammer. Must have been able to get it into the armory, but not out. Did you say he was burnt to a crisp? Forget the consolation. If it was Dyke, he went to Lou's side. But I like to think he might have not have died. Well, enough of that. Give me the runic hammer. I must now fulfill my duty. Ah, okay, so I was right in thinking that that's how that worked, is I can basically change the effects on my legendary gear. Okay. So actually, there's potential there then. Actually, can I smelt anything, or is it only legendary? No, he can change anything. Okay. I'm not gonna worry about that right now, because I feel like that's a waste with what we have. We could have better things. Yeah, see, now there's physical attack things here in the shop, so it is purely a matter of what class is looking at the shop. Kind of digging the Midnight Greatsword here, so we'll go ahead and grab that, because it's an improvement over our current weapon. Grab me some boots. Champion's armor is better than what we got, so we'll take that too. And we'll just go ahead and sell literally everything that's in this inventory otherwise. I won't do a full run, but I do want to see some of these skills in action now that we have this character. I've been hiding my identity, but it seems that those who've been here since I first arrived in this village already knew my secret. For the sake of the villagers who pretend not to know for my peace of mind, I will help with your mission. I mean, you were already going to do this anyway, but it gives you more reasons to do it. I'm just gonna rush off and get in some fighting. but I am probably going to purposely truncate this run a bit. Okay, instead of the spin move, he's got like a slide spin. And he's got a different level up animation, I think. He definitely rips through things just as well. Well, so far. But it's early yet. Let's see. Do I want Frenzied Strike, Rip Off, or Heavy Blow? This one gives attack speed, so that one sounds fun. Wait. Didn't get assigned to a slot. Oh, right, because that's the... Oh, you get completely different weapons with those. Okay. Right, I should have remembered. These are basic skills, so they replace your main attack. Right. So that's, like, big heavy swing. That's... I don't know what that's supposed to turn into, and then you get dual blades with this one. Okay. Kind of down for that. I'm assuming we probably need to get to a similar point where we got with the Spellblade with the Berserker to get the Revenant, or it's finish everything, get Revenant, something like that, probably. Basic skill damage, basic skill damage. We'll go till I can get a couple of the later skills, and then I'll throw this guy off a cliff. I do think his run animation's a little silly. I think it's as much all that heavy armor makes him run weird as anything else. There we go, just chop him up. I mean, I could grab one of these other ones too. Oh, yeah, we get extra damage from a one-handed weapon with that, so I really should be using a one-handed. But it's fine. We don't have a leap. I don't know how that works. Unless leap is the dodge move, perhaps. That would make a degree of sense. We'll just upgrade that for now. Soul Gem. I can increase our basic attacks more, but skill point. Skill point furthers our goal. Let's see, do I want Madness Wave, Blood Axe, Frantic Chain, or Rending Spin? Oh! The skill will stop when you recast it or run out of madness. Huh. What do all these do? 4 skills, increase attack speed, extra critical strike against bleeding enemies, increased physical attack for 5 seconds, and enraged makes you angrier. I need to see what Frantic Chain looks like. I need to see this. I need to see this man just go crazy. I mean, the Champion's Belt is an armor upgrade, but I'd lose some resists. I ain't gonna sit here and think about it too much right now. I'm just trying to zoom. Blood, Frenzied Strike. I could grab Blood Axe. So here, we'll be able to show off 2 of them. This Blood Axe was the other one I was considering getting, so that works out. And that is true, I could just pause the run instead of throwing it away, but... Oh, you're just hanging out here in the real world now, huh? Hey, Junior, how are you? I see you have a better understanding of artifacts and synergies, so we can move on to the next step. Artifacts are literally objects of will, which is why no successor should possess too many of them. The mind is already worn down by death, and having too many artifacts can cause it to be destroyed, so I usually limit myself to 9. But sometimes, against certain demons, that's not enough. That's when I use this synergy statue. It's not as burdensome as an artifact, but amplifies the synergy between artifacts. I'll show you what I have. You may choose one. Ah, okay, so he just basically gives you a free extra point towards a synergy. That's really cool, actually. I like that. I'll take the merchant. So every time I pass here now, he'll have that available to me, I guess. Making the game a little bit easier and giving you a little bit more build options. Two potions or one potion in max life? One potion in max life. This is when I end up going an extra like hour or 2 because I'm like, this run's going well. I'm just gonna keep going. Keep going. What if I just never stop? Okay, that is exactly what it says on the tin. That is in fact a blood axe. Oh boy. You just start spinning. Oh, I am so here for that. Ah, yeah. I don't have enough madness generated to keep doing that, but that's fun. I like that move. You can just go full spin to win with this. It really doesn't do much damage right now, though, which is a little sad. Not compared to wham of the big axe of doom. Because they're both only 1 point in, so it's not like, oh, this one just has a lot more points put in it. It's like, well, no, this one just needs a much bigger madness pool to be good, I think. This is only 60% damage per hit right now, whereas this one's 280%. And it throws health as damage as well. And it's got a 10% increase because we're using a two-handed weapon. Since those all cost resources, we're not going to spread any thinner on that. We'll just make Frantic Chain a little bit better. Oh, I have another point? Well, let's make Frantic Chain even better then. Hey, look, another skill point. Where were all these earlier, game? Ooh, on critical hits, this generates madness, so it would basically be refunding half of its cost each time it hits. That would be kind of incredible, actually. Rip and tear and chop and bite and num 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 num. I might not have to throw this run. We're actually kind of in danger right now. Hope because our gear is not up to snuff. And I'm kind of fucking around, admittedly. So this guy seems to be kind of built to fuck around a little bit. Get rid of him before he causes too much trouble. There we go. All enemies have been destroyed. Okay, this is a one-handed weapon, so if I really wanted to buff my other ability, I should use this, but it's weaker, so I think it wouldn't actually be a buff at all. Advanced artifact. Dealing physical damage to an enemy is a 30% chance to increase critical hit chance by 15%. That's pretty good. Every one skill level increases damage to enemies by 4% per skill level. Well then. That seems pretty good. Core skills damage by 10%, also pretty good. But I feel like I kind of need this one. Hot Blood in particular seems like it's exactly what I would need for Berserker. And raising our crit chance will make our spin move stronger. Oh yeah, actually I gained enough skill points that I shot up the line here a bit. Let out a roar that generates 10 madness per second for 7 seconds and increases your damage. That paired with the frenzy spin would allow me to just keep spinning. Consume 10 life and enter bloody berserk for 7 seconds. You gain in 10% physical damage and gain 10 madness per second as well. So, what's the difference? This one consumes a little bit of life, whereas this one has a cooldown. That's really the only difference, and the one that consumes life gives just a little bit less attack. Cruel Strike, Frantic Whirlwind, Offensive Thrust. I mean, we're already spinning. That's not that much spinning, though. That is less spinning than I expected. We are gonna lose to this boss, I think. Because I'm just kind of a mess. I mean, we're not doing bad so far. He's a little slower to drink potions, I'm noticing as well, than Spellblade was. I just need to not fuck around, and then we'd win this fight. Which basically means just not spinning, as sad as that makes me. I say as I spin a bit anyway, because I can get away with it in that particular spot. There we go. First boss down with the Berserker. It got close. It could have gone wrong. Hey, a fresh Resolute Vow. Perfect. And that is gear level 8, so that is actually an upgrade. It's interesting how you get gear at whatever the highest gear level you can get is, basically. You don't have to, like, get higher gear by going further. Just the more you play, basically, nets you the higher gear. Which is good for keeping people from getting buried in trash, because if they have to keep replaying this early area, they would start just steadily getting more and more garbage, which they'd have to throw away. I don't know why I'm putting so much thought into, like, artifacts and such, because like I said, this isn't being maintained. Beast seems like exactly one of the skills you'd want. And I don't know if some of these are only popping up now because we're a Berserker, or if I just kept skimming over them and not noticing them before. So you're saying I get to play with my big move. Okay, I can summon Giant Guillotine Axe now. We're gonna at least play with that a little bit before I throw myself into the void. Oh, that seems like it'll be fun. Gotta find me some targets. Hello, volunteers. Enjoy Giant Axe. That's not as big a move as I thought it was going to be for how it was described, but it still does some good work. So overall, still pleased. Not as pleased as I thought I would be, but still pleased. It's gonna take me some time to get this as powerful, I think, as the Spellblade ended up being. But part of that was also getting really lucky with what we got, I think, when we were doing that Spellblade run. I let that hit me. Because I needed to stop myself. If I didn't stop myself, we were just gonna keep on keeping on. But that was a lot of fun. That went way better than expected by so many different markers. We beat one game. We went way farther than expected, and Dragon is dead. This was just across the board successful. And the only way I could be happier, I think, is if we'd managed to beat Dragon is Dead as well. Which is a really high bar to shoot for, which is why it wasn't gonna happen anyway. Whew, though. Part of the reason why I was like, I need to stop myself is my throat was starting to get mad at me. So I was like, I can't keep pushing that. It's gonna get bad. And I can't afford to do that. Because if I destroy my voice and am unable to stream for a day or two or something, that's just gonna throw everything off a cliff. So I just need to find us a place to go now. After our grand adventure. Now, as far as what tomorrow is going to be, I don't know. I did reach out to Moth, but I didn't get an answer quite yet. I know Moth's been pretty busy of late, though, so that may be a thing. And Moth also, last I caught, I think, wasn't feeling especially well. So we may be figuring something out for tomorrow, and that's fine. I got plenty of things up my sleeve, so we will absolutely figure something out. It may even be that I go for try and tear down one out for you guys. I had already played it a little bit, and I was having a good time, but like I said when I mentioned it before, the performance was being just like that tiniest bit sketchy. So that's why it's still in the I'm gonna figure that out phase. Let me take a peek at some of these to see what they're doing and how they're doing it, and then we'll decide where we're going. Okay, I poked my head in there and I already heard something that I don't think I want to hear the follow-up to. Not something that's bad, just something kind of cursed. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not dealing with that right now. Nothing against them, just like, ooh, that was a thing to hear. How do things look over here right now? No. I'm being picky, and I shouldn't be this picky, because now we're gonna be in an awkward time again, because I'm bad at this. Why do I do this every time? Well, how do we end up in this position so goddamn often? I'll give you a hint, it's because I'm an indecisive fool sometimes. Like, gun to my head, you ask me to make a decision, and the decision would probably be to tell you to pull the trigger rather than me have to deal with making the decision. Which is in and of itself a decision, but shh, it's okay. Don't worry about that part. That part's not important. I'm losing my mind because I got too many choices. Like that I think is the best worst thing right now, is I have too many choices. I have come to know too many people, and they're all doing something right now. And I can't narrow it to the right amount for the dice I have on my desk or my coin. Let's see. We'll filter out all the people doing Elden Ring because, nah. They're doing a bunch of Sonic stuff, so I'm not interested on that score. Throw that one out for now. Might be going with the first choice, even though they were talking about something kind of cursed. Might just accept cursed into my life. Wouldn't be the first time. Give it one more refresh check just in case somebody pops in at the last second, and then otherwise we're probably going with that. Schedule for the week otherwise, we're doing every other week with Space Engineers, so this week I don't know what I'm doing. I'll have to figure something out, which is fine by me. Friday, question mark. Depends on if Xeno continues to be feeling better, we probably will do something. Might even be Warzy. Depends on how strongly she feels about doing that. Now that my Lurkit requirement's done, I'm not concerned one way or the other particularly. And then Saturday might be continuing with Walla for 7 days to die. I need to talk to her about that and see how that plays out. And yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna go with the one I was gonna choose first, so I don't even know why I questioned anything. One of these days, I'll just go with my goddamn first instinct and actually be smart about this. That just goes to show how often I type maybe is... I started to type Mayroon and it turned into maybe immediately. So... I've had some good interactions with them on social media. I've not really had significant interactions with them otherwise, but they've seemed nice, so figure we'll give them some love. They're playing Cat Quest, which is a nice little cute thing. Yeah, other than that, thank you all for taking the time to be here.